Did you feel like you were being canceled?
I mean, I really didn't understand it. I still don't understand it. I thought something was going on that because it was too orchestrated, it was too coordinated. And also, I have to say, if nobody else is saying it, it was really interesting because I'm a woman, and it did feel very misogynistic. It felt like I am a boss. I have a very successful show. I'd never had any complaints about anything for 17 years, and all of a sudden, all at once, something happened.
What does devil mean? It means divider. We're supposed to go along with the LGBTQ community. I saw what John the Baptist did. I think about him all the time in this situation. Would you lose your head for Christ? I would, because I love him. We're all playing different characters. I got to play Jesus. But some of us are playing Judas.
Our number one goal is to raise awareness, because a lot of people, they don't even know this problem exists. How can you become a solution if you don't even know that this problem exists in the first place, right? So we need to raise awareness. Millions of people, they need to see this film. So I thought it's going to be very simple and easy. Let's go to Netflix so we can reach the entire world. This is not for us. And they asked, well, okay, Amazon, this is not for us. And
Amazon and Netflix.
Yeah. Netflix. Yes. And many more for 3 years.
I would have thought, if I was just kind of uninitiated in this space, that Hollywood would at least be neutral on your film. Why are they so opposed, so frantic in antagonizing Sound of Freedom? What's going on here?
It will open your eyes, and people need to know this evil exists.
Even if this film never see the light, even if tomorrow there's an earthquake and the entire film is buried, right? The fact that we were used to save 200 children, it's all worth it, man. I can die in peace.
Be kind. 2 words. Ellen DeGeneres built a billion-dollar empire on them, and for years they were absolutely everywhere. Her brand, her intro, her merchandise, basically her entire identity. You couldn't sit through 5 minutes of her show without hearing that phrase. It made her feel untouchable, like the moral compass of daytime television. But the reality behind that image was a different story entirely. In 2020, the cracks finally showed. 36 former employees went to BuzzFeed and described a workplace that sounded nothing like the sunny, feel-good show audiences had been watching. One producer who'd worked alongside Ellen for years called it a toxic atmosphere. Warner Media opened a full investigation, and it ended with 3 executive producers getting fired: Ed Glavin, Kevin Lehman, and Jonathan Norman. The allegations were serious, including inappropriate touching, racial discrimination, and a culture built on fear. Ellen addressed it on air, calling herself a work in progress and apologizing to anyone she'd hurt or let down. And here's the thing. That apology didn't fix anything. The show never really recovered. The energy shifted. The network that had shielded her for nearly 2 decades quietly stepped back.
The ratings are down for this show. They're down for every talk show.
Right.
To be fair.
Yep.
But more for this one. Mm-hmm. Does that factor into any of this decision?
It's more for this one because we had further to fall, and everybody else was at a lower place, so they didn't have as far to fall. To be honest, I mean, that's the truth. We were very, very successful.
By May 2022, after 19 years on television, the Ellen DeGeneres show was over. Now here's where this story takes a turn that nobody was prepared for. Within 4 months of the show ending, 2 people with direct ties to Ellen died under devastating circumstances. The first was Anne Heche on August 5th, 2022. Anne and Ellen had dated publicly from 1997 to 2000, one of the most high-profile celebrity relationships of that era. Anne later said openly that her connection to Ellen had cost her opportunities in Hollywood. On that August morning, surveillance cameras caught Anne's car speeding through a residential neighborhood in Los Angeles before it slammed into a house and erupted in flames. She was pulled from the wreckage with severe burns and smoke inhalation. What made the footage so unsettling was that, after the crash, she appeared to sit up in the wreckage, visibly moving, seemingly alive.
A friend of Anne Heche says she's in stable condition. She's in the hospital after the actress crashed her car into a home in a Los Angeles suburb over the weekend. Now, the footage from a nearby doorbell camera appears to show Heche's vehicle speeding by on Friday. Police say she was doing twice the legal speed limit at the time. Photos obtained by TMZ reportedly show minutes earlier when witnesses say she crashed her car into a garage. Additional video allegedly shows her speeding away from that garage before ultimately slamming into a nearby home.
But according to the official timeline, she was declared brain dead shortly after. She was taken off life support on August 11th and passed away on August 14th, following organ donation. Her death was ruled accidental, leaving her family 6 days of emotional whiplash, watching her heartbeat after being told she was already gone. The second loss came on December 13th, 2022. Stephen "Twitch" Boss, the beloved DJ and executive producer on Ellen's show, was found dead in a motel room from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. No note was ever made public. The official ruling was suicide. Twitch wasn't just a supporting player on that show. He was the face of the Be Kind brand, the one in every viral clip, always dancing, always smiling, always bringing the energy that made the whole thing feel real. His widow, Allison Holker, said no one saw it coming, and his grandfather echoed that same heartbreak just 2 days later. January 2025, 1 month before the Epstein files dropped, Allison came forward with a fresh set of statements.
When Allison Holker came out and she tried to say that Twitch was struggling with active addiction, it honestly set alarm bells off in my head. It just didn't sit right with me, especially because in his autopsy, we know that it came back clear he did not have any substances nor alcohol in his system. And the way she was portraying that was this is what possibly caused his demise because he was struggling with a lot and he was also in active addiction. But the one thing that doesn't sit right with me even more is when she got into his journal notes, his private journal, saying that he was SA'd as a child and this is what he was dealing with and this is what could have possibly led to an addiction issue and mental health issues. This man wrote this in his personal journal. He obviously didn't even feel comfortable telling somebody that he married, that he loved, what had happened to him. He didn't want to share that trauma, and that part is what really gets me. You are going to share that part to the world for everybody to know.
That left families sitting with no real answers about 2 deaths connected to Ellen, both occurring within a 4-month window. The silence around all of it was deafening. Then, February 2026 hit. The Department of Justice unsealed 3.5 million pages of documents tied to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, the single largest document release in the entire history of the case. Ellen DeGeneres' name showed up in that release, and the internet caught fire almost instantly, with people dragging up old scandals, old connections, and old questions.
Why there's many people involved in this crime in every sector? Political sector, worldwide, here, Mexico, worldwide. This is a global problem. It's a elite problem. Hollywood too. I'm not saying everyone, because he lives in LA. I used to live in LA. There's a lot of great people there who are fighting, but the guys who are like at very top, why? How come these guys are not in the border? How come the government of Mexico? How come López Obrador is not in the border trying to save the children? They don't care when they're involved.
But here's what the actual contents showed. Her name appeared in emails about a potential speaking engagement, some newsletter compilations, and a mention of a party in St. Bart's. No victim statements, no flight logs, no criminal evidence of any kind involving her. A fake news site ran AI-generated audio claiming Ellen had admitted to cannibalism somewhere in those files. It went viral before anyone bothered to fact-check it. The files did contain 52 mentions of the word cannibal, but not one of them was connected to Ellen. Still, the damage to her public image had already been done before the debunking even started. What mattered more, though, was the broader pattern that had already taken shape long before those files were ever unsealed. Joe Rogan and Jim Caviezel had both pointed to something systematic, something baked into Hollywood's foundation.
Well, I'll give you an example, Charlie. We were about 4 years ago, we showed a movie, and this has been a 5-year deal. And they've done everything they could to stop it, as they did this with The Passion of the Christ. About 4 years ago, we showed it in a theater. There was like 5 viewings. And in each viewing, they were always talking during this one part, the audience. And I thought, maybe there's something wrong. I never seen that before. And about 1,500 people at the end, I spoke to them and I asked them, you know, what that was. And they all yelled out Epstein Island. And then I said, oh, okay, now I understand. We're shining a light on something they don't want shined on.
We're sucked into the deepest recesses of hell, and it's disgusting that the media hasn't covered it like they should. There obviously is really good media like yourself, but others that completely ignore it. And I think people need to understand, American people are starting to understand what is actually going on and are sick and tired of it.
From Rupert Murdoch at Fox to every major studio in Los Angeles, the unspoken rules were understood by everyone. Managers, agents, executives, they all knew something was deeply wrong. Nobody said a word publicly because too many careers depended on staying quiet. Rogan spent decades in the orbit of Hollywood's biggest names. He described what he saw not as isolated incidents, but as a deliberate machine, one specifically built to control careers, silence people, and eliminate threats through fear. Jim Caviezel stepped into that same conversation with something even more direct, a first-hand warning about a system that had been running in the dark for decades. And Caviezel wasn't some random voice from a comment section. Mel Gibson personally chose him to play Jesus Christ in The Passion of the Christ, a film that earned $612 million worldwide. That's not a fringe figure. That's someone who stood at the very top of Hollywood's ladder. At the height of that fame, he chose to make Sound of Freedom, a film based on the real story of Tim Ballard, a government agent who quit his job to pull children out of trafficking networks. While filming in Colombia, Caviezel personally witnessed traffickers attempting to sell children to the film crew. He saw it with his own eyes.
1 month and a half later, I'm reading this local newspaper from Colombia that it says that the federal police arrested some traffickers and rescued more than 200 children in Cartagena, Colombia, who were kidnapped for station, and more details like in the movie. Very similar story to the movie. So I run to see Tim Ballard and I said, Brother Duke, like in the movie. And he smiled and he said, that was us. What? That was us. Half of the guys who were not on set, they were walking on the Cartagena streets on Saturday, and these people came and approached them. Hey, amigo, gringo, you want senoritas, young ladies, how many you want? They thought they were tourists looking for action, right?
Wow.
Next thing you know, they didn't know that these guys were experts on rescue children, right? So they say, well, can I call you tomorrow because there's more Americans coming and we need more girls. Do you have like really young girls? Brother, we have everything you need. Okay, we have chickens. Chickens means like very little boys and girls, right? So anyway, so they rescued these children. They started this undercover operation with the help of the police, Colombia police.
When he tried to bring that story to the screen, Hollywood moved to bury it. He was blacklisted, ridiculed, and labeled a conspiracy theorist. No major studio would touch it. And yet, the film was released anyway and went on to earn $251 million without a single major studio behind it. Caviezel also revealed something that should have made far more headlines. Documented warnings were sent across studios stating that anyone who got involved with the project would be pushed out of the industry. The gatekeepers were choosing which stories lived and which ones quietly disappeared.
Is this, are you saying this the type of thing in the film that is going to be revealed and people are going to see? I mean, is that why this is so controversial? Is it the powers that be are trying to stop this? Or is it the quality of the movie?
Well, it's credible, the movie. When you see it, it's like in your heart when you see you've been told something for a long, long time, and then all of a sudden.
When the movie came out, it was like, okay, now it all begins. So once we got out, we had an amazing film, they edited it. Then you have these guys watching this and they're not going to be, okay, this might be the right. Listen, if this was Schindler's List, that was 50 years later, okay? This is Schindler's List now, and this time, we made it during this time now. And the individuals that are not going to carry their costs are going to look at this and go, okay, that's yours, we don't want anything to do with it. And he had to bear that burden, and he's had to hold it for quite a long time, or we would never got this out.
Caviezel described the whole structure as an 8-armed octopus. Cut off one arm, one host, one producer, one executive, and it doesn't matter. The other arms keep moving. The machine keeps running. It protects the powerful through enforced silence. It ridicules anyone who asks questions early, and it controls which stories ever see the light of day. That framework connects directly to something impossible to ignore about Ellen's documented history. Close, personal relationships with 3 separate men who were each later convicted of serious sex crimes involving exploitation, trafficking, or abuse. The first name on the list is Sean Diddy Combs. He showed up on Ellen's show more than once. The two had a well-documented friendship, and Ellen was caught on camera giving him affectionate nicknames as recently as 2016. Then, September 2024 hit, and Diddy was arrested on federal charges. By July 2025, he was found guilty on 2 counts of transportation for prostitution. And by October 2025, he was sitting on a sentence of 4 years and 2 months in prison. The second name is Harvey Weinstein. Ellen was photographed with him at events, she had him on her show, and she publicly supported him. What most people didn't know at the time was that Weinstein operated under a contract structure that literally budgeted money for harassment claims, a system built entirely on silence and victim compliance. He was eventually convicted of sexual assault and sentenced to 16 years in prison. The third name might be the most shocking. Juan Teixeira de Faria, better known as John of God, was someone Ellen actively promoted on her show as a genuine spiritual healer. He was arrested in Brazil in December 2018, convicted on multiple counts in February 2019, and handed a sentence of over 400 years in prison. 3 men, 3 convictions. And Ellen stayed completely silent on all of them until the verdicts were already public. Now here's where the story takes a turn that's hard to ignore. After the workplace investigation, the end of her show, the deaths of 2 associates, and the convictions of people she was close to, Ellen quietly left the United States, and the timing was 3 months before the Epstein files dropped. She sold her Montecito mansion in October 2024 and bought a $15 million estate in the Cotswolds in England. Diddy's arrest came in September 2024. The document releases were coming, and rather than use her platform to say anything at all, she simply left the country. No statement, no clarification, no pushback, just gone. To be clear about what is and isn't proven, the toxic workplace allegations were confirmed through Warner Media's own internal investigation. Her move to England is on public record. Her friendships with 3 convicted men are documented. Her minimal appearance in the Epstein files is confirmed. What has not been proven is any direct criminal involvement or connection to trafficking on her part. But the pattern itself tells a story. This is how the industry machine keeps running, through silence, through platform control, and through powerful people quietly protecting each other until the walls start closing in. If this story left you with more questions than answers, that's exactly the point. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this conversation is far from over. And if you're not subscribed yet, now is a good time. We've got plenty more Hollywood deep dives headed your way. See you in the next one.
It's going to move a lot of whistleblowers to come forward, but not one. In the hundreds, maybe thousands of them worldwide start coming forward and telling the truth of what's really going on. We have a darkness around us right now. We could lose our republic. Are we going to let our children go? And that's a question, and people have to answer. And I think they're onto this.
So I'm thinking, like, while you're filming the movie? Yes. Well, I mean, the second week, brother, of filming, half of these guys were rescuing 200 children, and I'm thinking, wait a second. Thank God for Caviezel's wife, who said no in the beginning. Because of that no, he was inspired, Tim Butler, to bring 30 ex-Navy SEALs, and because of those 30 ex-Navy SEALs, half of them rescued 200 children before the film was even finished.
Sound of Freedom 2.